Hey guys, welcome back to the channel. All right, so by now you guys already know who Benny is. You guys know how she operates. You guys know how she feels about George. What if I told you that there is a reason why she behaves the way that she does?
Well, now that you say it like that, it makes perfect sense. I better go wake up my adorable son and smear it with his own waste.
Because in the episode Dance Fever, we get to finally hear straight from Benny why she behaves with George the way that she does. And honestly, it's one of the most Hispanic explanations the show could have ever given us. Before we get started, thank you all so much for the support. I just want to say I did not upload yesterday, but it's mainly because I needed to work on so many more. But more on that later. Enjoy the video for now.
Sign these.
What is it?
We need 2 weeks off for our honeymoon.
So the episode starts off with George already in manager mode at the factory. This is when Randy and Benny come in to basically ask for paper signs so that they can go off on their honeymoon.
I can't believe I'm actually going to be married to this lady.
But suddenly, Jack gathers everyone to the floor because he has an announcement to make.
Want everybody on the floor right away. Especially you, George.
So George accidentally ends up telling on himself.
Opening day, all right? I did have a fever, man. I just didn't say that it was Dodger fever.
Although you did just lose a personal day.
But then Jack ends up bringing Angie out, and we finally get an announcement that George has been named the recipient of Rising Star Award.
Congratulations, honey.
Wow, in recognition of excellence in management.
And basically, it's one of those awards that is given to minorities in business. Now, this is huge for George, and it's not just because he won something, it's because they're acknowledging his management.
I've never won anything.
You won my heart.
Now, why you gotta do that where at work? What you...
It's even bigger when you realize how George has grown up. You know, nobody actually encouraged him, nobody pushed him. He had to do all of this by himself. Hats off to George, right? Jack even points out that George kept the plant running even during the shutdown. And it's amazing that George actually managed to do all of this because it does show that he is deserving of this award. So, of course, everybody's proud of him. Angie, Ernie, Jack.
Way to go, George. Yeah, congratulations, George.
Thanks, Randy.
I'm so proud of you, honey.
Everyone but Benny. When Angie asks Benny what she thinks of this, Benny does exactly what she does, and that's to just downplay it.
Yeah. You know, someday he'll be good enough to win a white guy's award.
And this is where the episode plants the real issue. George acts like he's used to it, and I'm sure he is. He has accepted that Benny's not going to give him praise, but Angie is not ready to accept that. See, George is a grown man. He has a wife, he has kids. He just won an amazing award, and he's trying to pretend like this doesn't affect him, but deep down inside, we know it does.
Come on, Angie, let it go.
Oh, come on. Why can't your own mother one time compliment you when you do something good?
And this is the sad part of the episode, that George is trying to enjoy it for what it is, but in reality, the one person that would absolutely make him feel better or make him feel like he actually earned something is the one that doesn't even care. And throughout his life, we know George has tried to impress Benny or make her realize that he is a success. Back at home, the kids basically decorate for George.
Hey,
Congratulations!
thank you. Hey, oh, check out that banner.
Max even makes a banner, which is sweet, but it's completely misspelled. You see, George is still bothered that Benny did not congratulate him, but you can tell he's still kind of trying to downplay it. Then we get a very important conversation between Angie and George, where Angie tells George that the reason Benny never praised him is because she was never praised herself. And so George never learned how to do that, meaning now he's probably not gonna do it for his kids.
Look, you might be used to your mother's attitude, but I'm not.
And this is where the whole generational damage comes into play.
Well, I just think it's a cycle that should be broken. As a child, Benny was never praised, so she didn't learn how to praise you, and that's why it's hard for you to praise the kids.
Because Benny is not mean, she just doesn't know how to. And because she doesn't know how to, like I mentioned, she never taught George, and then we get to see how George treats Max and Carmen, specifically Carmen, and then later on Max in the later seasons. See, Carmen constantly feels like she's not valued, heard, or trusted. The problem is George is too busy pretending like he doesn't need Benny's approval, but the episode proves that he absolutely does. Then, of course, Angie buys George a star as a symbolic gesture. You know, he's a rising star, and it's a big thing.
So why don't you come on outside? I want to give you your surprise.
I'm pretty sure it's not that expensive to buy stars now. Like, if you guys want to impress someone, go ahead and buy them a star. But I remember when that was a huge thing. So basically, Angie buys him a star to show him that he is a rising star and tells him to make a wish.
To feast my eyes on 36C, Lopez.
Thanks, honey, but I'm actually a 34B.
You said make a wish.
Now, the real heart of the episode and where we get the title, George gets to Thirsties to have the celebration.
Oh, this is the best night ever.
Everybody's waiting for him there, and Ernie comes up all sweaty.
All right, brother, congratulations. Look, Angie's all sweaty, he's out of breath. Looks like he's gonna throw up.
But Ernie's real reason is because there is a new game called Pump It Up. And if you guys don't know what this game is, it's one of those games that you stand on a platform and you step on the arrows, basically dancing.
This.
Wow. While you were describing it, it sounded stupid. But now...
Once again, we get a very strong speech from Jack praising George for all the hard work that he's done.
The one choice I never regretted was hiring George Lopez.
And you see, this is huge because when it comes to Jack and Mel, Jack is usually the one that's a little bit harder or more serious because to me, it seems like he's older. Mel is a little bit more laid back, but to get this from Jack twice in one day is huge. He literally acknowledges George as one hell of a manager. Of course, George has a big ego thing, and it makes sense just based on how he was raised. If nobody cheers for you, you're going to cheer for yourself, and eventually that becomes an ego problem.
You know, I wouldn't be holding this award today if it weren't for one special person.
Oh, honey.
But not you, me. Give it up for me.
Now, George is still acting laid back, like he doesn't really care if Benny doesn't care, until Randy comes into Thirsties to give Benny some news.
I got the job! For reals? Oh!
Immediately, Benny lights up, congratulates Randy, says she's so happy for him, and this is what destroys George. You see, George basically realizes that Benny can do this for everyone but him, and it's what stings to him.
After all these years, my mom still finds a way to make me feel horrible. How can something so small be so evil?
It's not necessarily jealousy over Randy, it's just the fact that he understands Benny has the ability to emotionally praise someone, just not him. Then Randy starts dancing the Pump It Up game and everybody's chanting for him. They're hyping him up.
This is my night.
Your night.
My night.
My man's gonna do it! He's gonna break the record!
Of course, Benny is also hyping up Randy, and so George decides that he's finally gonna take a stand.
Angie, give me 50 cents.
What are you doing? You can't dance?
50 cents, woman!
But this is about George proving to Benny that he can do better and he just wants to get a good job, George. So of course he gets on the machine with Randy, dance battles him, and beats him.
Player 2, you have the high score.
But the victory is super embarrassing because George is celebrating like a little boy who just wants mommy's attention.
Are you proud of me now, Mom? Did I finally do something good enough for you?
Honey, calm down.
Did you see me, Angie? My initials are gonna be on the top of that list.
And it's kind of funny, but it's also kind of sad. He's like humiliating, sweating, dancing so hard and ridiculously in front of everybody that he works with just to get Benny to notice him. So we finally get the confrontation that George needed to have a long time ago with Benny.
What the hell was all that at the bar?
Mom, do you know you're the only one that didn't congratulate me when I won that award?
Such a baby, George.
Why can't you let me have this?
Why do you need it?
Benny does what she always does best, deflects, mocks him, tries to walk away. George brings up the house, the factory, the kids, and Benny just finds comments to undercut him.
I mean, I worked my way up to manager at the factory, Mom.
In 15 short years.
Well, what about the house?
Oh, you make payment.
What about my kids?
Is Angie gave birth twice.
Anytime George gets emotional, Benny reaches for sarcasm like it's a weapon that she's carrying in her purse. Then George ends up getting even crazier and tells Benny that he will not let her leave until she says something nice about him.
Why not? Would it kill you to say something nice about me for once?
No, because if I do, it'll go away.
This is when Benny finally breaks. She admits that if she says something good, then she might end up losing George.
You are not supposed to brag about things. If you do, the evil eye will take it away. You know, mal de ojo.
She basically claims that if you brag about nice things, then the evil eye will take them away from you. See, in Latino culture, mal de ojo is basically, it's a belief that envy, harmful gaze, excessive admiration can bring misfortune, especially to children. To make the audience believe that the only reason she never praised George is because of some supernatural luck is kind of crazy. But on the other hand, it does kind of show you that Benny at least believes this because everything good in her life has always been taken away after she brags about it.
Almost everything good in my life's been taken away. You don't play with this.
And it's kind of sad that her whole worldview is built on loss and her not trusting good things to last. Now, it explains the emotional logic, but I mean, it still doesn't really make sense. Instead of saying, I love you, I'm proud of you, she thinks that she's really protecting George by just staying cold. But she takes the mal de ojo explanation even further when she brings up the fact that she rubbed pee on George's face. And dude, that is just child abuse, man.
I am not crazy. Why do you think I rubbed pee on your face when you were a baby?
And it's because a lot of people were saying that, he was cute. And so she wanted to put some ugly in him so that the mal de ojo wouldn't take him away. And it sounds like Benny's more of a nutcase, bro. Like, I'm not saying I don't believe in mal de ojo, but I don't. But it's crazy that you're literally putting pee on your baby's face. I don't understand that.
Mom, that's unsanitary.
Now that I look back at it, probably put a little too much on it.
It's like somebody saying your baby's cute and you're just like, let me fix that. And it gets heavier when George says, okay, so if you believe that, how come you're praising Randy? And Benny tells him this.
If something happens to Randy, that's bad. If something happens to you...
See, this is as close as George is going to get to it. Benny saying, I care about you. And it's kind of sad that you don't see this a lot more in the later seasons. It's literally just the first few seasons where Benny has an actual soft spot for George. Later on, it just seems that she just wants to be mean. And that is why this episode is much more than George just embarrassing himself. It is about the emotional math of the Lopez family. It's about him winning an award, and literally the only person that he wants praise from is the one that's least capable of giving it, and for some reason, she has a solid reason to herself. You see, in the Lopez family, breaking generational trauma does not always look graceful. Sometimes George dancing on a dance machine against Randy for a high score, screaming for Benny's approval and chasing for that compliment that he's gonna get is possibly the one that he should be giving his kids. All right, guys, thank you all so much for watching. If you enjoyed this one, just remember to hit the like, drop a comment. If you're new to the channel, go ahead and subscribe. We're getting very close to 4,500, and I can see 5,000 right there. Right there, bro. I can see 5,000. I went up almost 100 subs in like 3 days. So thank you guys so much for the support. Just remember, I'm here for you guys every single day of the week. If you guys comment on these videos, I'm going to answer back to you almost right away. Thank you so much for the support. I will see you guys on the next one. Goodbye.
Come and get her, I.